So I'm going to continue to go through my CGC Captain Marvel Adventures collection, and this time I have issue 31 from January 1944. This is a 9.2. There are 27 graded CGC comics, a 9.4 and two 9.2. So I am tied for the second highest grade. I did find the invoice for this one. I paid $565. It is listed in comic book price guide as $840 graded. So I don't know if I get that for it, but it has a Monster Society of Evil, the chapter 10 in the series, Mr. Mind appearance, and Captain Marvel goes to New York. These are white pages, so that's pretty nice. Although the cover looks kind of faded, but I don't know. Maybe that's the way it originally came. But definitely I keep my comics out of the light, which kind of that means they're just sitting in a case or in a box. So this is issue 35. There are 47 graded CGC comics. There is a 9.6, a 9.2, and 4 9.0. Another chapter is chapter 14 in the Monster Society of Evil. First appearance of Radar, which, what was it, a bat or something? And Captain Marvel goes to Indianapolis, Indiana. This is from April 1944. And this is part of the Davis Crippen collection, D copy. So that was, I guess, a famous collection. CGC did a few different interesting things on their website. First of all, you can plug your comics in to, I guess, say I own this particular one. So you basically plug in the number there, which is a unique value. It will give, CGC gives a numerical value to each comic based on, I think it's kind of based on price. So then you can compare your sets to other sets. And so as I was buying these, I was moving up the Captain Marvel ranking, and the highest ranked Captain Marvel set actually had been set of the year. So it's kind of clever. What CGC does is they kind of create a competition among collectors. And so I saw that number one spot, and I was like, oh, I kind of want that spot. And that collection had been set of the year one year, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to have set of the year. So I kept moving up, and the collector who was number one was kind of moving down, because it was clear that this collector was selling off their collection. In fact, sometimes I would buy comics from this person, and I don't even know that I was getting it from that person or if it was another person in between. But obviously, if I'm buying something from this person, that person's moving down as I'm moving up. Eventually, I did overtake and took the top spot, but I never reached the score that this person had at their height. So the set of the year, it's not just based on raw numbers. It's also kind of the effort you put into your collection. Like every single one of the comics that I have listed in there, I also have fairly detailed descriptions of the stories, because I found a website online where I could read all of these stories for free. I think they're all in the public domain, and so I put a lot of information, a lot of work in there. I never won the set of the year, but I did try. But I also think it became more competitive as time went on. So it became harder and harder to get set of the year, and I kind of just gave up. It was costing a lot of money and not really worth it. This is Captain Marvel Adventures number 36. There are 31 graded copies. We have one 9.4, one 9.2, and three 9.0. So mine is tied for third. This came out in June 1944. This is chapter 15 of the Monster Society of Evil, and Captain Marvel visits St. Louis, Missouri. In this issue, the Big Missing Face contest. It's easy, it's fun, everyone can win $2,000 cash prize. So I guess they had a competition in this one. I remember that some people would get way too into the top spot, and I remember some guy was so into the New Mutants, and one of the things he would do, because they also have message boards on there, so you could. This guy was posting constantly, and he was obsessed with the New Mutants, and he would do weird things like take comics that he had collected that were not in good shape and get them graded just because they meant so much to him. But he would sit there if he didn't get the score he wanted, the grade he wanted. He would take it out of the box and submit it over and over again until he got the score he wanted. And also, just reading his postings, it was kind of clear that this guy, it was a strain on his budget, and I felt kind of bad for him because I think he just got way too into it. This is number 15. This is my earliest graded comic. I did not get the early ones because I was more into high grades rather than early issues, and it would have cost a fortune to get high graded early issues. So I went with later issues rather to reduce my cost. We have a Hitler appearance, it says in there. This is an 8.0. Number 15 is, there's a 9.6, and then this one is well down the list. I'm not going to go through all, but the next one I own after 15 is number 30. So within the first 30, I only own a couple of them. So I don't own early issues. But this was September 1942. And then we have a 9.6. This is issue 50 with 102 graded copies. I don't know why this one has so many. There are two 9.6s, so I'm tied for the highest, which is interesting because there's clearly writing on here, and yet it's still got, and in fact the cover looks, this is another one where it looks maybe a little faded, but again, maybe I'm wrong. We have a Savannah appearance, off-white pages. I don't know if this grader was just being really generous because off-white pages for a 9.6, that's interesting. But it's December 1945. I did find the invoice for this one. I paid $633, and it is listed as $2,000. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, whether I'm going to keep them until the day I die or what, because my daughters have no interest in comic books, so I don't know what I'll do. But anyway, that's the next 5 in my collection, and I will continue going through them in a next video.